It's a Monday morning, and I'm glad to start the week with you right here on High Impact Television on the Newspaper Review. I'm Esther Kalu. How's been your weekend? You can let us know on our social media platform. Now we're joined by telephone with our guest this morning, Emeka Nwato, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, and thanks for joining us on the Newspaper Review this morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Esther. Good
Yes.
morning, Nigerians and
Okay.
listeners.
So on the Punch newspaper this morning, we have, not just on the Punch newspaper actually, but we have a major story here that has to do with the subsidy removal and the government here. Now on The Guardian, the statement says, don't overburden us, Nigerians warn federal governments. The federal government have tried to place a point as to why the subsidy removal should be done and how it is not sustainable, especially on petroleum, you know. So, but Nigerians now are saying don't overburden us. How do you see the position of the government and the position of the people? How do you compare these two, and how do you see a balance? What balance do you think can be brought to the table?
Okay, thank you very much, Esther. The fuel subsidy regime has been on for a while in Nigeria, but it is not sustainable, because the system has not brought about productivity and a competitive economy, despite the fact that Nigerians perhaps pay less, but in essence, it has not been very, very meaningful to us as a country. So, what I think there is that this particular subsidy situation can be addressed in a way that would create a balance between the citizens, which and the citizens and the government, as it were. So they will not feel the impact. I hear that government is trying to even create another subsidy by creating like a transportation allowance, for Nigerians.
Yeah.
So, but that in itself is good. Is good, but I hear that there is a timeline to that now.
Okay.
For between 6 to 12 months. So that is good, but I can tell you for free that we need to be very careful so that the money, the handouts would not get into private pockets or wrong hands.
Well, let me butt in here. Talking about that stipend, you call it handouts. I have to say that 5,000 naira as transport allowance for over 40 million Nigerians, and our population is reading over 200 million. What do you think the remaining? Do you think the remaining 160 would still survive with that, with over 100% increase on petrol? We buy for 165 thereabouts per liter, and if the removal is effected, the subsidy removal is effected, we'll be going for 320 and above for a liter. So do you think that the remaining over 160 million Nigerians that are not getting 5,000 naira can survive even with that amount to buy a liter in terms of fuel price now?
Yeah, Esther, this intervention is just a way of cushioning the effect of the hardship on vulnerable Nigerians, that the poorest of the poor in the society. So it is not as if everybody would get part of the activity support.
Yeah.
But in essence, these funds injected would, in a way, once it is addressing, or once it is affecting the lives of other persons, it would have a ripple effect on the economy, and it will affect productive activities. But I should tell you, Esther,
yes, please,
that this country
Mm.
currently shouldn't be having this subsidy regime,
Okay.
because but you need to know that this thing has not helped us in any way, because if you look
Mm-hmm.
at so far,
Yeah.
we currently have uh, a situation where
Yeah.
we pay so much for subsidies,
Mm-hmm.
and we are not getting return in infrastructure.
Mm.
So I don't know if it has done us any good.
Okay.
It has not done us any good, because yes, we would feel the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians would feel that temporary hardship,
All right.
but there is no best time, because for me, I'm liking it to a cancerous, a tumor that is cancerous.
Mm.
That if you don't cut it off,
Mm-hmm.
it will fester, and it will destroy the whole body.
Okay,
you know
I'm going to
so because
connect.
I don't know
Mm.
if Nigeria is doing better
Yeah.
than countries that like Ghana, like
Mm-hmm.
Kenya, that
Mm-hmm.
have commercialized their petroleum sector
All right.
downstream, and of course the subsidy removal. you know
Okay.
it is something that will feel the pain, but
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that it is the best thing for us to do. I mean, it should have been done 2012,
Mm.
but if we continue to procrastinate it,
Yeah.
Nigerians will continue to suffer, because
Okay.
we need infrastructures, we need railways to work, we need the educational systems to work.
Um,
2.7 trillion naira
mm.
is enough chunk of money. If it is injected into the economy,
All right.
it will bring about development. So I know Nigerians don't want it now.
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians most Nigerians are lamenting,
Mm-hmm.
but that is the future. That is the way we go. Because if we keep eating our future,
Yeah.
if we keep eating the resources that would have made us better, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how we can improve as a better country, because we need to be productive,
Mm.
and we as a country, we need to be competitive.
Okay,
So
I need to butt in here. You've been talking about infrastructural development, and there's also an update today saying fuel subsidy removal. Now, this is on the Vanguard newspaper. Relocate savings to critical infrastructure and business, leaders tell federal government. But I would like you to note that recently, there's a news that China takes over Uganda airport, other countries' assets, over 207 million loan deal. I mean, Uganda has lost their airports to China, and if this is happening, I'm going to ask you, do you think that removing this subsidy is going to reduce our own option of borrowing? Like, is that going to stop Nigerians from trying to borrow? Because looking at what has happened to Uganda, and this is just $207 million. Let's not go into the details of how much Nigeria has borrowed already. So do you think this is going to reduce our debt profile?
yes, we keep borrowing as a country, Esther, because of the deficits in our budget. If you look at our revenue profile or our fiscal positions, we will always have a deficit, and that is why we keep borrowing. And that is not sustainable. We need a country that can be very productive. If we have refineries running,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, like infrastructures,
Mm-hmm.
which like refineries,
Mm-hmm.
we will not have to get paying a lot of forex for exportations, for importations of these refined products. We will save more as a country,
Yeah.
and we would improve our living standards,
Mm-hmm.
and we will be better for ourselves. So I mean, it is because of lack of funds
Okay.
that we will keep borrowing, but we know the problems.
Mm.
We need solutions, and that is part of what we are supporting the government.
Okay.
But it has to be in a way that it would be systemic. There should be adjustments,
Yeah.
so that everybody will not feel the brunt, as it were. So we need a system that would allow everybody
Yeah.
to survive in Nigeria.
Yeah. Talking about.
So if we don't borrow, if what is happening in China can happen anywhere. But it is because leaders are not thinking out of the box. You know, so resistance as to the fuel subsidy regimes will keep drawing us backward. You know, so but I believe that if we turn around we structure our economy, we structure the petroleum sector, which is the main base of our economy, even diversify it too, and then export our products, we would generate forex, and we would be able to bridge these gaps, this deficit gap in our fiscal systems, and we will not have to borrow again.
Okay, we could go on infrastructural development and debt profile as another topic entirely, but I'd like to focus on the 5,000 Naira grant in connection with our database. We know that data is another conversation in Nigeria. Knowing the number of people that are even the poorest of the poorest, you know, we can't boast of a database that is robust. And 5,000, ASU is urging Nigerians, according to the Guardian newspaper this morning, to reject the 5,000 Naira transport subsidy offer. How do you see the capturing of the 40 million people in connection to this 5,000 Naira, and how this money will get to them? Do you see the possibility of this 5,000 Naira getting to those who actually are termed as poorest of the poorest?
Okay, I also heard the Honorable Minister for Finance saying that there will be electronic remittances into, like, direct transfers into the accounts of those involved. You know, so I'm also aware that the social investment program has prepared some social register that has identified these persons who constitute the vulnerable or the poorest of the poor, and then the World Bank support, data supports, and all of that. But in all genuity, the government should be sincere, should be very sincere, and then work with labor, work with everybody concerned, work with certain groups, you know, as they've always done, so that, and even with state governments too. It's not just the federal government staying in Abuja and then deciding who constitute the poorest of the poor in a community in Bonu or in Rivers. I mean, it should be community driven as well, so that they will be able to identify these people, and then the social register should be made open. Should be made open and accessible. Let us know that for now we should be calling for an audit. Let us know who are those that constitute that register. It shouldn't just be members of the committee for the program that will just identify friends and colleagues that will just fill it up, you know. So that's why we're calling for transparency and openness, so that at the community base, at the community level, we would identify, because it is the community that knows those people who are poor among them. So let us identify those people and those interests. So that the remittances will be done to them directly. It is a concerted effort, and that's the way to go.
Okay, this sounds like a conversation that would have to talk about maybe some other time, but because of our time this morning, we'll have to end the conversation here on the fuel subsidy removal and other matters. Thank you for joining us, Emeka Nwato, on the newspaper review this morning.
Thank you so much. With the palliatives, I believe we can get it right.
Thank you. Do have a great day ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
You already know, if you're a regular, that you can get more details of some of the stories on the news around the globe at 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. I'm Esther Kalu. Stay safe.